So, put that on. Hello and welcome to part 2 of my little hands-on let's play of Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. Now, I'm going to guess that all of you who are probably watching this video have already watched the first part, in which I just blabbered on and kind of made a bit of an embarrassment of myself. So really, I've done a few levels so far, but in between the last video and this one, I have played the game quite a bit more. I know now what I'm doing, and compared to how I can play the game now, I do look a complete bit of a plonk. But anyway, I was just literally playing this when it came out on the Friday, so this is, I think, maybe the 4th level in the game. The one straight after the Shibuya Drift Attack. Was it Drift Attack? I think it was Drift Attack. Well, this is the 3rd race, and it's themed after something called Afterburner, which, to be honest, I'd never really heard of, and I actually had to go on Wikipedia to find this out. I've got the page up right now. It's sort of like a combat flight simulator game. Obviously, I've never heard of it because I've never really paid much attention to most arcade games that weren't Ridge Racer or Daytona USA. But I've never really heard of this game before, but there is a level themed on that, as there is themed on quite a few things. And I've also found out through mostly completing the game that you can actually play as what is it, a F-14? I think it's an F-14. Yeah, you can. One of the characters, quotation marks, I'll call it a character. It's a playable vehicle in the game anyway. It transforms into the F-14 Tomcat from the Afterburner arcade game, so there's that. Oh, it doesn't matter, I've never really heard of it, and that's just me. I'm sure there'll be people out there who've heard of the Afterburner series. I haven't. Much as maybe a lot of people that probably haven't played the Daytona USA series, and also, funnily enough, the Daytona car is playable, and it took me a while to get the hang of that, but I just got hit by something called a twister, which kind of messes your controls up. And I survived it without getting hit by anything, so I got a sticker for it. I know in the first video that I didn't really talk about much other than the comparisons to Blur. I mean, obviously I've come from playing Blur, and I'm pretty sure I said that I wasn't going to make any further comparisons to the game other than some similarities between the weapons, and of course that the designers and developers from Blur and from Black Rock Studios, who made games like Split Second and Pure, worked on the game. I've already explained that's the reason I picked the game up in the first place. I'll try not to do that. Even though I just did. I'll try to talk about the game. So, honestly, make myself look a bit like a plonk. I can't remember what I talked about in the last video apart from that. I did sort of go on a few things, and yeah, I don't really know what to talk about. It's a good thing I'm not trying to talk whilst playing at the same time. Oh, that was a bit stupid. I still haven't really got the hang of the game at this point. I think given my next video where I'd actually gone through and completed the first World Tour Cup on hard mode, I'd actually got the hang of the game. Now, as I said in the first video, the reason I'm using Tails despite there being 24 characters in the game is because Tails is my favourite character in the Sonic series, and because I was still new to the game, and he's probably the best handling character in the game thus far. Oh, I've just been gimped. Horribly gimped. People will probably wonder why I'm using Tails. It's literally because he's my favourite character. Say what you want. I know there are people out there that will say things, but he's my favourite character, and he's one of the easiest handling characters. I suppose he's more like a novice character, and the game's gameplay physics and mechanics and stuff are quite different to other arcade games. I mean, I made the comparisons to Mario Kart, I've made the comparisons to other kart racers, possibly. really it's in a league of its own. Not necessarily saying it's a bad game. I actually quite enjoy it. I mean, okay, I wouldn't be playing it if I didn't enjoy it. But nice. I like them stickers. But I really just, because he's my favourite character and because he helped me get to grips with the game. Since playing this, I've done a few multiplayer races online, which are on YouTube already, and you'll notice that in them I use someone called Joe Musashi. Joe Musashi, again, is a character from one of Sega's arcade games, which I've never played or really heard of up until this game came out. But since playing the game and getting better at it, I've found that he actually suits me better than Tails does. Which is a bit of a shame because I like Tails, but I also actually quite like this Joe Musashi guy. His car is awesome. It's like, yeah, Knuckles has got sort of like a car motorbike hybrid. He's got the same kind of thing. And to be honest, Knuckles is actually a pretty good character in this game as well. But for the majority of the World Tour itself, I will be using Tails because at the time of recording, I didn't have any other characters unlocked that I wanted to play as, and really he's my favourite character in the game, so it just kind of made sense. But at points, such as I think in the next race or the race after, I will be trying some other characters just to show them off, show the different characteristics of each driver, the sort of vehicles they pilot. Because whilst the game does employ... I boxed that up there. It does employ 3 different games in one, technically. It's like a bit like Diddy Kong Racing, as I made that comparison, in which you can pilot a car, a boat and a plane, depending on if you drive through these these blue rings, which are called transform gates, which obviously you have to drive through. If you try to go around them, you'll either get manually pushed into them, or as I've done plenty of times through the game, when going from plane mode into car mode, I have had the opportunity to go over them by accident, and you can't cheat the game by staying in plane mode during a car session. It will reset you to the gate, which will lose you quite a lot of time because then you've got to get back up to speed, and most of the fast characters tend to have crap acceleration, which really does mess you over. And that's Amy, or is that Ulala using... That's Ulala using her All-Star move. I should have done a backflip. I'll talk about All-Stars later. Oh, actually maybe I should talk about them now. I probably did mention beforehand All-Stars do. It's essentially like their super move. It's like they all had All-Star moves in the first game. In this game they're kind of more balanced. They all tend to do the same thing. Essentially what happens is your character will transform into plane mode wherever they are, although they'll still drive by the physics of whatever mode they're in, as in it will stick to the floor if it's a car or boat. But basically you transform into a plane, which is the fastest vehicle out of the 3. You'll go faster anyway, and you're invincible, you turn really well, you go really fast, and you can spam the A button to attack everything. Really, all the All-Star moves of every character are kind of generally the same. The attacks to pull out are different, but really they all handle the same, which is a nice way of balancing. But as you'll notice on the character screen, each character has sort of a different All-Star stat. I've not kind of figured that out yet, to be honest. I mean, I've played this game so much and I've not quite figured out what exactly it influences. I don't know if it influences how easy it is to get an All-Star in the game, or if it influences its effectiveness of the attacks. I'm thinking it's the former. And because I didn't win, I've decided to do it again. Well, obviously I need to do it again. I can't really progress if I don't get first or whatever I've got it set on. But yeah, how you get an All-Star, I've also not figured it out. According to the Wikipedia, performing tricks and collecting the gold medals that are littered around the track, and which are also dropped when you attack another character. Apparently collecting those goes towards the All-Star meter, and when it becomes full, when you next pick up a weapon, it will be an All-Star weapon which you can hold on to and use whenever you want. Although generally it's best to spam it as soon as you get it. circumstances may be different, such as honestly you do not want it to end whilst you're going around a corner, especially a sharp one in later levels such as the Burning Rages stage, which I will talk about more when I get to it. It's quite a bit of a distance ahead. But do you see an all-star meter on the screen? Do you see an all-star meter on the HUD? Because I don't. So I honestly have no idea, which is probably the intent of why it's not on the screen, but it kind of doesn't help knowing how full your all-star meter is, and the fact that it fills up quicker the further behind you are also doesn't help. I suppose it's just one of those things where it's kind of a bit like you have to leave it down to the luck. But some characters are more likely to get all-stars than others. The ones that are more likely to get all-stars tend to be the worst characters, or at least not the fastest. Take that, Sonic! I just got a ton of achievements for that. I don't know why. Oh, why did I do the double front flip there? Yeah, the All-Stars in the original game were unbalanced as hell. I mean, like, Sonic's was OP, and Sonic being the fastest character in the game also kind of didn't help that. Although you couldn't really use All-Stars online in the first game, but you can in this game, which is fun. They're not really game-breaking like in the first game. I mean, there's also been plenty of times where I've ended up getting my All-Star in second place, and I've just deliberately held on to it up until some point where I'd need to use it. I'm just like, yeah, you're not catching me up, AI. Goodbye. Someone tried to hit me. So that's really how the All-Stars work in this game. Spam the glove. Oh yeah. Have your barge back! Yes, you can give them your barge back. Because the attack for the hot rod is essentially a barge, and the glove will catch anything. It will even catch stuff in front of you. And it, like I said, it's like I said before, it's like a shield from Blur. It will stop anything. Ah, I couldn't stop that. I didn't have a weapon. Those little toy IC cars are actually a complete pain in the ass. And through experimenting and stuff, I've actually found there are a few ways you can avoid them. In case anyone knows, the easiest way obviously is to kind of like line it up and fire something backwards at it. Pretty much anything will stop it. I think a blowfish can stop it, but another RC car fire backwards will stop it, a rocket will stop it, ice will stop it. You can also evade them by performing, I believe it's a level 2 drift. Getting a level 2 boost will also, if it's close enough, will give you a boost evade. Going over any sort of turbo pad, once it's in close proximity to you trying to hit you, will also make it evade. And the hot rod and the attack the hot rod does can also make it evade. So, as annoying as they are, if you're in the right situation, you can dodge them, and they will just go past you and clout into someone else and mess them up instead. But they are really annoying. So I've done that second time. I mean, basically my first go I didn't know where I was going. The second one I did, so I managed to get around it. So let's see what the next race is. Oh, I've got a choice of 2 routes. I wonder which way I should go. That's the monkey ball and one up top. Ugh. Okay, Sega, honestly, Sega, please. Okay, someone from Sega, answer this question. Why is this guy in this game? I just cannot stand him. It's like I can't stand drifters on Blow. It's like the Great Clement cannot stand Sonic 06. Why is fucking Amigo in this game? Why is some monkey with a creepy face with maracas in a game like this. And furthermore, who would actually buy his games? Seriously, it's like, what? Also, the music's annoying on the levels. And that song could just give anyone nightmares. It's supposed to be a kids game or something, this Amigo dude. It's supposed to be for kids. Okay, show a bloody kid that song now. Give him nightmares for weeks of that bloody smile. But I've got to do this if I want to progress. So this is versus mode. And what you do in versus mode is it's a series of 1v1s where the goal is, when the timer runs out, be in first place. Now I've got it on medium mode, so it's a cakewalk. What that little meter on the bottom of the screen is this proximity meter, which is exclusive to this game mode. And if you manage to get into the green zone and stay there long enough, you will eliminate their other character. And conversely, if the red zone end up too far behind for too long, you will get eliminated yourself and lose. I didn't know at the time of recording this that you could actually fire blowfish forwards, and I completely screwed that drift up. It happens a lot if you kind of like try to turn or try to drift before you go to control the drift, you will end up turning into the way you're trying to control. As in, I want you to drift left, I want you to drift right and then control left. Obviously I pressed the left before I pressed the drift button, so I ended up going the wrong way. But it doesn't matter because it's medium mode. The AI a complete cakewalk on medium mode in this sort of race mode anyway. Oh, I've got a twister and I've been hit, and it's a good thing transform gates reset that, doesn't it? That was cheap. Ugh. Like, come on, even his vehicles are crap. And seriously, I've seen the stats on that thing. It is the slowest thing in the game. And his car is a train. Why, Sega? Why put a maraca-wielding monkey from a world where cactuses have sunglasses in a game about racing? Seriously, why? Do not understand. I hate him. I hate him. In hindsight, I shouldn't have even unlocked him, but I did. Honestly, the Amigo levels in this game, this one and the one that comes from the first Sega All-Stars racing game, I hate them with a passion. Okay, I was playing this game online yesterday. I've recorded some footage of online. Not to boast, but I won the majority of the races. I did like 12 races and I lost 3 of them. Yeah, the guy who ever beat me was some dude driving Eggman. And the first one he got lucky because he started first and I got spun out halfway through the first lap. But I digress. Now. God damn you, Amigo. Jerk. Anyway, I decided to, because I'm completionist, I wanted to do all the races. I decided to go play the race instead of just advancing through the tour. So I'll be going on the Monkey Island level, which is a fun little level. I quite enjoy this one. I'm not really that much of a fan of the Monkey Ball in terms of the characters. I like the concept of Monkey Ball. I've played Monkey Ball. I've had it borrowed from my cousin and played it on GameCube. I think I've also played the PS2 version. I've also played something called Never Ball, which is kind of like a Linux clone of Super Monkey Ball. But I actually like this level, and I buggered my boost start up. Yeah, I got that frustrated about it. I got that frustrated that I kind of messed my boost up that I wanted to redo it. There we go. Got lucky with that barrel roll. Yeah, I remember what I was talking about the online for now. I was playing online and I'd done maybe 12 races online at the time, and then everyone went for the Amigo track, and because I do not like Amigo, in case it's not obvious already, since I do not like Amigo, I quit. As soon as it got selected and it got confirmed, I was like, yeah, fuck that, and left. I mean, the layout of the course itself is fine, but just the theme, it makes me so angry. So, yeah. What just happened? It's like I thought I got hit by a twister or something. Messed my own self up. Right. I should maybe talk more about the physics and the handling of this game, to be honest, now that I've kind of shown that off. And, well, as I've already said, there's 3 modes of vehicle in this game: car, boat, plane. The cars handle pretty much the same as they did from Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, the predecessor to this game. Same sort of mechanics, even though I'm pretty sure that the entire physics engine itself is completely brand new and isn't using the same car physics engine from the first game. The boats and planes, on the other hand, handle quite a bit more realistically than the cars do, and I found that in most situations in car mode you can get away with driving with really bad handling stats, because the cars tend to handle the same regardless of handling stat. It just tends to affect how sharp you can actually drift. Since you tend not to be taking very sharp corners in a car anyway, you kind of don't really need to worry about it too much, but in planes and boats the handling really does have a big effect, especially in planes. And that it really becomes really unresponsive, and especially if you do like me, when you end up kind of getting a bit offline in a boat, you can find yourself fishtailing constantly as you're trying to kind of like correct yourself, and the lack of response in the boat's handling means that by the time you've actually corrected, the boat's going to keep turning the direction it was going, and then you kind of have to counter steer and swerving back and forth before you finally either catch the back end through just like going, yeah, fuck it, whatever, or through just going, yeah, fuck it, and letting it hit a wall and straightening itself up that way. Drifting in a boat, especially if you get a bit offline and you need to like correct your own steering, can completely mess you up. And I've only attempted to drive a boat and a plane with a character that had a handling stat of 1. I've only done it once and I decided not to bother, because seriously, the boats were pretty much boats, yeah. They did not want to steer, they would just prefer going in a straight line. So, I mean, Tails has got by default a handling stat of 5. Amy's trying to smack me. Didn't work. Hey, look, I've learned to fly stuff forwards. Yay! And I ended up coming 4th. Yay. But I'm digressing from my original point. For people new to the game, you will want to pick someone with a good handling stat, such as Tails, possibly II or Mimi as well. They both have fairly good handling. You may want to use them just to get the grips of the boat and plane physics, because they're both a deal more realistic than you'd think from an arcade racing game, and they do take some practice. Speed of the planes as well also kind of, at least from what I've seen, makes doing small drifts pointless. as it seems they will just turn by themselves at the same sort of speed that they can drift anyway. And the amount of boost you get from like a level 1 boost in a plane is so pointless. That often I've found just the only reason I'd ever drift in a plane is just to take a corner very, very sharp. In most corners, if I can get through without drifting, then I will do. Although obviously in a car, I spam it like crazy because at least for landing up jumps and stuff, it's quite effective. And obviously I know what Monkey Ball is, having played it, so I kind of understand the basis of this game. Now the idea behind this level is essentially it's like a big downhill half water, half car sort of flume ride thing. As in you start at the top, as you can see on the map, you come down to the very bottom, and as you come through here, as you've already seen, you get through a little teleportation thing which plonks you back up the top. Rinse, repeat 3 times, eventually you end up with a winner. I actually quite like this level. Not that it's because it's simple, but that because, I don't know, I just like the concept of just going downhill and then coming back up to the top, and plus the corners are just so long and easy to drift. And those little tiki heads are a complete pain as well. It's kind of like, that was the first time I actually attempted to use a hot rod properly. I wanted to see what happened. I kind of never noticed a little temperature gauge on the back, and it was after that one when I cocked it up on purpose just to find out what happened. I actually learned how to use it properly. Until then I didn't really know. Oh, I got hit by a monkey ball. Mostly saved myself because I kind of went off a jump. Look at that. Monkey ball's falling into the water, making huge waves, and if you get it right you can do a little flip or a little barrel roll and give yourself some more speed. You can even do a front flip at this little lip here, but I found that it's easy to do it if you're going left or if you're using a faster class car, which is why Ralph kind of like blasted past me at that point, because he did a flip, I didn't. I didn't get any speed, he did. And speaking of Ralph, I will be using him in a race or two. Actually, I think it's the next race itself where I decided to use him. Because, hey, Wreck-It Ralph! they went and like collaborated with Disney to put Wreck-It Ralph in the video game for Sonic, because they put Sonic in the Wreck-It Ralph movie. Which I think is pretty awesome, and from what interviews and stuff I've read online, they've explained his cameo as being because in the Wreck-It Ralph movie, which I've not actually seen yet, I will go see it at some point, one means or another. I do want to see it, it looks awesome. Especially, not just because I'm a gamer, but also just the concept. But the main concept in Wreck-It Ralph, without spoiling too much, is essentially he video game hops. And the developers of the game essentially explained Wreck-It Ralph being in the game as he's kind of hopped into the game's universe, and he's just kind of like loitering around racing everyone else in the process, as that's what he kind of does in the movie, which I think is a pretty cool way of explaining how they managed to get a cameo in a video game. I probably would have won that, but because I could not get the hang of the boat physics at that point, I ended up hitting the walls all the time, ended up coming second. But because I'm playing on medium mode, I only need to get a podium, and on medium mode anyway, coming first, second or third does not matter. You'll still pass, you'll still get the same amount of stars. You don't need to play it again until you go to hard or expert mode. So, you know, doesn't matter. I passed. Oh man, my coffee's gone cold. God damn it. It's 6 o'clock in the evening, I'm drinking coffee. That might be because I went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning last night and I kind of didn't get much sleep. I had to be up at 7 o'clock this morning. A bit dumb of me. This is the fruit machine. And it's a way to kind of like cheat, possibly. I think I might have made it redundant because I've got to do a boost challenge next. I cannot remember for my life of me if it carries on after that, but you can also use the fruit machine in Grand Prix mode and online. I didn't actually know you could do that. I kind of like found out. I don't know if it works in regular single race mode or in split screen or anything, but it's quite a nice little way. Usually you can get some decent you can get some decent little weapon at the start of the game. Now, what I was doing is actually just looking. I picked Metal Sonic just to look at what the mods were. Now, there's 6 standard mods. Apparently, well, I'll explain it properly. There's 6 standard mods which you get through from leveling up from level 1 through to level 6, which is signified by a star. You get 1 per level up, and the last one is I'm going to dub it the special mod, which you unlock through World Tour by getting enough stars to open up one of the hidden paths. In doing so, on some of them you'll find a little icon, and if you get enough stars to unlock that, it will give you the special mod for a certain group of characters. Now, I think I've probably already unlocked the special mod for the Sonic characters, so I'll go ahead and explain that one. But there's a different special mod for different groups of characters, some of which I unlocked through recording, some of which I unlocked out of recording. The little symbol signifies the era, and the characters are grouped. The special mods and the characters that the special mods belong to are grouped in terms of era. Now, obviously, the MD stands for Mega Drive. In America, the Mega Drive is known as a Genesis due to copyright problems with an American group called Mega Drive. I think it was some sort of Greenpeace. I don't know. Probably better not talking about it. But the Mega Drive special mod gives a special mod to all the characters from the Mega Drive era. Despite actually, Metal Sonic first debuted in the Sonic the Hedgehog CD, which I think is from the Sega CD, which was an add-on for the Mega Drive. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. Or it might just be because he's a DLC character. I'm probably good. Someone correct me in the comments, please. Seriously, I cannot remember if Sonic CD is from the 32X or the Sega CD. And to be honest, I don't know if... I know the 32X is an add-on for the Mega Drive. I cannot remember if the Sega CD is. That's how dumb I am. I mean, like, okay, granted, none of this stuff ever came out in this bloody country, I mean, and I've only ever successfully played Sonic the Hedgehog CD and Knuckles Chaotix through emulators. I mean, okay, I released Sonic the Hedgehog CD on the Xbox Live Marketplace, and I do own that legit. I think it's a nice touch that they unlock Tails in that for you to play, to be honest, but I've not really played it that much. I don't really like Sonic CD that much. But I'm getting off the point. Because I didn't explain it during that race, that location is from the original Sega and All-Stars racing game. And the idea of the boost challenge is a spam boost. If you go over a boost pad, it freezes the timer. If you do a drift, when you release the drift and you boost, it freezes the timer. The idea is to hit as many boost pads as possible, do as many boosts as possible, and prevent the timer from running out. That's a simple concept, and they're genuinely quite easy once you've learned the tracks. And at least on expert mode, provided they don't fuck up, you will win. So, now the next one, which is going to show up, I think I probably paused it here because I actually legitimately went for a piss. I think I put that in the comments of the first video, where by this point I had literally needed to go pee. I mean, okay, I kind of like equipped my pee faster and pee efficiency mods and that. That's a little running gag between me and my friends, by the way. I can probably explain that if someone wants to, but it's kind of a little joke we have for when we need to go for the toilet between games. Ah, I'm back. I kind of did that little left-right just to show when I got back. Now this, it tells you in the bottom right of the screen the kind of game that it's from. This is apparently a Sonic the Hedgehog game, and I do not recognise it worth shit. In no Sonic games have I played where anything looked like this. I mean, what the hell, it was like a neon space sphinx lion thing. I mean, what? That was literally my reaction when I first saw it. I was sat there like, what the fuck? But in hindsight, there are a few games of Sonic that I haven't played, the most recent of which is Sonic Colors, so I'm guessing it's from Sonic Colors. Again, in the comments, someone please confirm or correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's what I'm guessing, that it's from Sonic Colors. And obviously, because I said I was going to, I've picked Ralph for this level. So, at least you can see me using a different character, and you can also see what your handle's like. I still couldn't get the hang of boosting off at the start. I eventually worked out the mechanic, and I've worked out the most efficient way to boost at the start, at least for me. So this is Ralph, and for whatever reason they've given him some sort of cartoonified truck with a free swinging wrecking ball on the back. Why they've done that, I don't know. The ball serves no purpose, and I think it's actually got stuck to the back of my car because it's stopped moving around. I also don't know how he got a super glove, since that's supposed to be sort of like a super weapon. It didn't stay up very long either. Actually the wrecking ball probably stopped because the glove was out, and off I go. Trying to hold the drift from the corner, which I cannot hold the drift through. Ugh. When I first played this level, it kind of reminded me of Rainbow Road. Simply because of the whole, holy crap, I'm doing corkscrews on the road and gravity does not make sense sort of idea. And I just got nerfed hardcore. That was cheap. I'll get you back, Sonic. I'll get you back, Metal Sonic. Or maybe I won't. I probably should have hit him and twatted him off the track. Well, that Twister didn't do much, did it? Kind of got hit by a Twister and knocked into a blowfish. Bonk! I probably should have picked a weapon up, to be honest, instead of trying to block Metal Sonic and kind of provoking me to firing stuff at me. Oh dear. I could have gone down there as well. But stop nicking my power-ups. Bees. And this level kind of changes. This level kind of changes between cars and planes depending on what lap you're on. I had no idea where I was going at this point. Okay, these sort of like free roam looking plane areas, I really have no idea where to go, and I found it a bit amusing at the time that Ralph uses a helicopter instead of a plane. Kinda got away with that one. Oh, off I go again. And the way the game reset me, I almost fell off again straight away. That was cheap. So, final lap. 6th place. Yay! And again I got a super glove for some reason. I don't know why I'm getting super gloves all the time. I've never got one of those online. Damn it, I need to type something. Oh, here's Ralph's All-Star. His music is awesome. And his voice is not so awesome. And that kind of proves as well that the All-Star is literally just transform into play mode and go and beat the crap out of everything. It's a nice way of balancing the All-Stars and making them do pretty much the same thing, isn't it? I almost went straight over that, and if I'd gone straight over that, I would have been boned. So there we go. So somehow my first go on this track, I won. So I actually like Ralph. I think he's pretty funny. And the fact he does a little handstand on his little truck thing as well, that was pretty cool. So I think that's pretty much the whole yay Galactic Parade. I still don't know. I'm pretty sure it's some Sonic Colors, but yeah, that's pretty much the first area in World Tour completely done. So I'll leave this video as it is. In part 3 I will start, if I'm correct anyway, in part 3 I will start on any other levels that are left over, and if it really is going to go on to World 2, I will start on the second level, on the second area of World Tour. So yeah. I don't know what just happened. My video ended 4 seconds early. But I'll see you guys in part 3.